A human mistake. Ethan Cole was just a human mechanic. Nothing special. He worked on broken machines and leaking fuel lines at the edge of a forgotten spaceport on planet Terexus 9. Dusty, hot, and lonely. That's how every day felt. He didn't have friends, only tools. No dreams, just dirty gloves and half-eaten protein bars. One morning, he was called to fix an old cargo terminal. Nothing strange, just another broken screen, or so he thought. The room was silent and dark, only a large, glowing console stood in the middle. Lights blinked in patterns he didn't recognize. Ethan scratched his head. This isn't a regular console, he mumbled, stepping closer. There was a blinking red button labeled in an alien language. Curiosity pulled at him. He'd seen hundreds of systems before, but this looked different. Maybe it was connected to an old transport ship outside? Without thinking too much, he tapped a few keys. Suddenly, the screen flashed bright white. Alarms began to sound. Wait, what? No. Before he could cancel anything, the floor beneath him shimmered. A blue light wrapped around his body, like a cage. His tools dropped from his belt. Then everything went black when Ethan opened. His eyes, he was standing in a giant metal room, circular, bright, and far too clean. It smelled like metal and strange herbs. Before he could move, a calm robotic voice echoed around him. Welcome, Commander. Registration complete. Human Ethan Cole. Command access granted. Commander? He said, blinking. No, I'm just a mechanic. You've got the wrong guy. But the system didn't care. Before he could argue further, the giant doors behind him hissed open. 7 figures entered. Tall. Beautiful. Dangerous. They were alien warrior women, each one over 7 feet tall. Their skin was glowing in different colors, blue, gold, silver, and even soft green. Their armor was sharp and tight, molded perfectly to their powerful bodies. Eyes sharp like hunting cats. Hair long, flowing, and braided in warrior style. Each carried a weapon. One of them stepped forward. She had violet skin, glowing eyes, and armor that shimmered like crystal. Where is our previous commander? She asked coldly. I don't know. I think I made a mistake, Ethan stammered. The alien woman narrowed her eyes. Then why did the ship register you as the new captain? I swear, I didn't mean to. I touched something back at the port and then Silence. Another shouted. Her voice was deep, almost like thunder. You're not one of us. Humans are weak. You must have tricked the system. Ethan raised his hands. I'm not trying to trick anyone. I just want to go home. Suddenly, the robotic voice returned. Warning. Attempting to remove the commander will result in complete system shutdown. The warrior women paused. What does this mean? One of them whispered. Another responded. It means we're stuck with him. Unless we want the ship to die. The first woman, the one with violet skin, sighed and turned to Ethan. My name is Siraxa. I'm the first blade of this warship. If you truly are the new commander, then you must prove your strength. We do not follow the weak. I am not. Strong, Ethan shouted. I fix ships, not lead them. Then you will die, Siraxa said simply. Ethan stood there, shaking. The massive ship around him hummed with energy. The alien women stared at him like he was a bug crawling on their blade. But then something inside him clicked. No one ever expected much from Ethan Cole, but maybe this was his chance to be something more than just a forgotten mechanic. Maybe, just maybe, the universe made a mistake that wasn't really a mistake. He took a deep breath. Fine, he said. I'll prove it. But after that, you better explain where I am and what this ship even does. Siraxa raised an eyebrow. Brave words, human. Let's see if your body is as strong as your mouth. And just like that, Ethan's simple life was gone. He was now the commander of a mysterious alien warship, surrounded by deadly, beautiful warrior women who didn't trust him. Yet somehow, he had this strange feeling this was just the beginning. Trial by strength and wit, the cold metal floor echoed under Ethan's boots as he was led down the hallway. 2 tall alien warriors walked. Behind him, weapons in hand. They didn't trust him, not yet. The warship's hulls were wide and glowing with blue light. Strange alien symbols pulsed on the walls, and soft humming filled the air. Like the ship itself was alive. Ethan had so many questions. Where was he? What was this warship's mission? And why him? But none of that mattered now. He was walking toward a trial arena. Inside the arena, the ceiling stretched high, covered in glowing lights. The floor was smooth and shiny. Around it, the warrior women stood in a wide circle, watching silently. Their eyes held no kindness. In the center stood Siraxa, the violet-skinned warrior who had first spoken to him. She pointed a long staff at Ethan. If you defeat me in combat, she said, you will keep your position. For now, if you lose, you will be locked in a cell until we reach a decision. Ethan raised both hands. Can't we talk this out? Maybe play chess instead? No one laughed. Siraxa threw a metal rod toward him. It slid on the floor and stopped at his feet. Your weapon, she said flatly. Ethan picked it up. It looked like a pipe too heavy to swing well, and no buttons or lights. He gulped. Great. I'm supposed to fight a 7-foot alien warrior with a fancy stick while I hold a space pipe? The ship's AI voice spoke. Combat begins in 5 seconds. No lethal attacks. First knockdown wins. Ethan blinked. Wait, what? Siraxa rushed forward like a blur. She was fast, too fast. Her staff cut through the air and nearly smacked Ethan's head. He ducked at the last second, falling to one knee. She didn't stop. A second swing came at his side. He rolled away hard, pounding. He wasn't strong like them. He wasn't trained to fight, but he knew machines. He knew movement, weight, and balance. Maybe, just maybe, he could turn that into something useful. As Siraxa came at him again, he noticed something. Her left leg was slower. He remembered seeing a scar there earlier. She favored her right side. He waited, pretended to panic, back toward a wall. Then he turned suddenly, swinging the heavy pipe downward at her foot. She blocked it with her staff, but the force made her slide. Didn't stop. He used the weight of the pipe to twist her staff out of the way. Then, instead of hitting her, he stepped behind her and kicked the back of her weak leg. She stumbled. Her body fell forward. Ethan used the pipe as a lever and swept her feet from under her. She hit the ground with a loud thud. Silence. Then the ship's voice spoke. Winner, human, trial completed. Ethan stood there, breathing hard. His arms shook, his heart raced, and his hands still held the heavy metal rod. He looked around. All the warrior women were staring at him with wide eyes. One of them stepped forward. He didn't win by strength, but by thinking. Siraxa stood up slowly. Her face showed no anger, just respect. She nodded. You saw my weakness. You didn't try to crush me. You used your mind. You fought like a leader. Ethan swallowed. I just didn't want to die. Another warrior crossed her arms. Maybe that's why you deserve to live. Later, back in the command room, Ethan sat in the captain's chair. He still couldn't believe it. The crew stood around him, silent, curious, watching. He cleared his throat. Okay, listen. I don't know what mission you were on. I don't know why the ship picked me. But if I'm your commander now, then let's at least try to work together. Siraxa stepped beside him. We are warrior-blooded, she said calmly. We do not follow easily. But today, you proved something. She leaned close and added, Don't prove us wrong, human. Ethan looked out the large window as stars stretched into infinity. He had no idea what tomorrow would bring, but he had passed the first test, and he knew this much. He wasn't just a mechanic anymore. He was the commander of an alien warship, full of beautiful warriors who were starting to see him in a new light. The ship's secret heart, the warship moved through deep space like a silent predator. From the outside, it looked calm, cold steel and glowing engines. But inside, something had changed. Ethan Cole now sat in the command chair. A human, once. A low-level mechanic. Was now the registered leader of a ship made for war and controlled by alien warrior women. He still couldn't believe it. Every time he looked up, he caught the crew stealing glances at him. Some with curiosity, some with disbelief, and one or two with something else. Something softer, But trust was fragile. He had only won a test fight. That didn't make him one of them. It was quiet in the main control room. The tall walls shimmered with blue lines of light. The stars outside twinkled, endless and distant. Soraxa stood next to him, arms crossed, her sharp eyes scanning a map of the ship. This warship, she said slowly, is more than it appears. Even we don't know all its secrets. Ethan blinked. Wait, what? You're the first blade. How can you not know your own ship? She gave him a sideways look. We were soldiers. Chosen by the order, trained to obey. This ship was given to us, but never fully explained. Ethan's curiosity sparked. He leaned forward. Can I explore its systems? Soraxa hesitated. Then she nodded. As commander, you have full access. But if you awaken something dangerous, you face it alone. Later, Ethan entered the core chamber of the ship. He was alone. The room was round, dark, and silent. Strange alien symbols glowed faintly along the walls. At the center stood a glass-like orb, floating midair, humming with energy. A console blinked nearby. It was in a language he couldn't read, but something inside the ship recognized him. The orb pulsed, and a voice whispered through the room, not loud, not mechanical, but soft, almost human. The connection is complete. You are? The first to return. Ethan's heart skipped. What are you? The orb pulsed again. I am the heart, a bonded ichor, made for war, peace, and protection. I waited for you. For me, Ethan said. Why me? Because, the voice said, this ship was designed by humans long ago. A secret project. One warship, bonded to a special crew of warriors. The crew would be alien. The mind would be human. Ethan felt his legs weaken. Are you saying this was part of a human-alien alliance? Yes, the voice said. But the alliance fell. The ship was hidden. The crew was chosen but not told the truth. Until a human activated the heart again. Me? You? Back on the bridge, Ethan shared what he learned with S.E.R. Axadot at first. She didn't believe. Him? A human made this ship? That's impossible. Your kind was weak when we last studied Earth. Yeah. Well, Ethan said, turns out humans got better. She studied him carefully. So this ship was made to link. Human mind and alien strength. Exactly. You were meant to fight. I was meant to guide. She nodded slowly, but something dark passed across her face. If this is true, then we have been lied to. A silent tension filled the room. Another warrior stepped forward tall, with golden skin and blue markings across her cheeks. Then the question is, she said, do we accept this truth or reject it? Later that night, Ethan stood alone in the observation deck. He looked out at the stars, thinking about everything. He didn't ask for this. He didn't want power. He just wanted a normal life. But now he was in charge of a warship, made by humans with alien warriors who didn't fully trust him. And the ship's true purpose was still hidden. Behind him, he heard soft footsteps. Thought it was Soraxa. You're not what I expected from a human, she said. I'm not sure I'm what anyone expected, Ethan replied. She stepped beside him, silent for a moment. Then she said, if the ship chose you, maybe we should listen. Ethan looked at her. Will the others listen too? They will follow my lead, she said, but only if I believe in you. And do you? She gave him a small, rare smile. I'm starting to. The trap on Hollow Moon. The crew was still adjusting to Ethan's presence. But something was changing. He was no longer just the human to them. Now, some of the alien warriors called him Commander. Even if they whispered it at first, they had started watching him differently. Not with hate or suspicion, but with growing interest. One warrior even saluted him after breakfast. He spilled his coffee in shock. Still, Ethan knew respect had to be earned again and again, and soon he would get his biggest test yet. That day, the warship picked up a distress signal. A soft, broken message blinked across the screen in red alien text. Yeah, I translated it quickly. Ship crash. Hollow Moon. Survivors need help. Ethan looked up. Where's that? Siraxa stood behind him, arms crossed. A dead moon, empty rock. Some say it was used as a base during the old wars. No one goes there anymore. But someone's asking for help, Ethan said. The crew looked at each other. Silence. They could be lying. Said the golden-skinned warrior. Zara. It could be a trap. Ethan nodded. Maybe. But what if it's real? If we ignore it, people could die. He looked around the room. Let's go. If it's a trap, we're ready. If not, we save lives. That's what a real crew does. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then Siraxa nodded. Poor set. Hollow moon? The ship landed near a broken hangar on the gray, lifeless moon. Dust swirled in the thin air. Wreckage lay scattered burned crates, shattered metal, and broken machines. No signs of life. Ethan, Siraxa, and 3 other warriors stepped out in. Armor suits, helmets glowing. We should not split up, Siraxa warned. Agreed, Ethan said. Stay sharp, eyes open. They walked slowly through the wreckage. Then Ethan noticed something strange. The smoke from a recent fire was still warm. Someone was here. Recently. Zara picked up a scorched device. Signal emitter. Hey. Distress call, she said before Ethan could respond. A loud metallic clang echoed from above. They looked up from the shadows. Black robotic drones dropped down from the cliffs fast. Spider-like machines with glowing red eyes and sharp legs. Ambush! Siraxa shouted. The warriors formed a shield around Ethan. Laser blasts hit their armor, bouncing off with sparks. Siraxa sliced the drone in half with her plasma blade. Zara fired a shock cannon, taking down 2 more. Ethan ducked behind a broken pillar, thinking fast. There's too many. One warrior shouted, They're trying to box us in. Ethan looked around and saw a nearby control tower, still intact. Wires ran from it into the ground. Cover me. He shouted and ran. Bullets and lasers flew past him. He dodged, slid, across gravel, and dove into the tower inside. He hacked into the system with fast fingers, sweat pouring down his face. He found it. The drones were being powered from an old fusion core buried below. He quickly reversed the signal. Outside, the drones froze, twitched, and turned on each other in seconds. The battlefield was filled with crashing metal as the machines tore each other apart. Then silence, only the wind blowing across. The cold moon dust back on the ship. The warriors stood in silence. Zara spoke. First, he hacked the system. Used the enemy's power against them, another added. He thought like a machine. And moved like a warrior. Siraxa looked at Ethan. You saved us, again. Ethan shrugged. I just used what I know. Machines, weak spots. Panic mode. She stepped closer. Next time, warn me before you sprint into enemy fire. You wouldn't have let me go, he grinned. She smirked. Exactly. Later, as the warship drifted silently through space again, the crew gathered. In the dining hall, for the first time, Ethan didn't sit alone. Zara handed him a carved piece of alien bone. What's this? He asked. A warrior token, she said. You've earned your place? Even Siraxa raised her drink. To the human commander. Ethan lifted his own glass. He didn't know where the next day would lead. But for the first time, it felt like he truly belonged. The warrior's curiosity. The ship felt different now. There was laughter in the halls, small smiles, nods of respect. And for the first time, silence didn't feel dangerous. It felt calm that Ethan had led the alien warrior crew through an ambush, saved them. Not with brute strength, but with quick thinking. And that mattered more than muscles here. Still, trust was not the same as connection, and one warrior was starting to feel something stronger than loyalty. Siraxa stood alone in the training room. Her blade hummed softly as she spun it in fast. Perfect circles. The room's walls lit up with each strike, reacting to her speed. She had trained since childhood, taught to fight, never to feel. But lately she found herself distracted by him. The human, he wasn't like the others she had known. He was unpredictable, not just in battle, but how he looked at her. Like he wasn't afraid. Like, she wasn't just a weapon to him, it made her curious, angry, confused. She didn't like confusion, so she called him. Ethan stepped into the training room, wearing a basic ship uniform. No weapons, just confusion on his face. You called me? He asked. Saraxa didn't answer right away. She tossed a wooden sparring staff to him. Fight me. What? Again? I already survived the last time, Ethan joked. No rules. Just instincts. He sighed, but picked up the staff. You know I'm not strong like you, right? Saraxa tilted her head. That's not why I called you. They moved in a circle. She struck first lightly, like a test. He blocked it. Barely. She kept coming. Faster now. Each hit was firm but controlled. She wasn't trying to hurt him. She was trying to understand him. Ethan was clumsy, sure, but he was fast when it counted. He ducked, rolled, and even managed to surprise her with a sudden fake swing that made her stumble. He laughed. Did I just trick you? She stopped, lowered her weapon, walked slowly up to him until they stood inches apart. You are frustrating, she said. Thank you. He said, unsure. I was trained to read warriors, she continued. But you act like a fool, then win battles. You speak softly, then lead loudly. What are you, Ethan Cole? He blinked. I'm human. We're weird. She looked into his eyes for a long moment. Then she did something no one on the crew had seen her do before. She smiled. Later. Ethan sat alone in his quarters, thinking about what had happened. That moment, so small, felt more powerful than any weapon on the ship. He didn't know what Saraxa really felt. Was it respect? Curiosity? Something more? But he did know one thing. The lines between commander and crew, alien and human, warrior and man, they were starting to blur, and he didn't mind. Meanwhile, deep in the ship's I core, the voice of the heart whispered softly to itself, emotional resonance increasing, connection deepening. The bond between human and warrior has begun. But not all eyes on the ship were pleased. One of the crew, a quiet one named Dorella, stood in the dark watching Ethan's training footage. Her jaw was tight, her hands curled into fists. She was never meant to smile at him, she whispered. A human doesn't deserve her attention, or her heart. And from the shadows, a new danger began to grow. Shadows within the ship. The warship cruised silently through space. Stars drifting slowly across its giant windows. But inside, not. Everything was calm. Ethan Cole didn't know it yet, but while some crew members were learning to accept him, others were preparing to betray him. Varela sat alone in a dark corner of the armory. Her greenish-blue skin shimmered under the dim red emergency lights. She wasn't like the others. She had always questioned the decision to serve on this ship. When Saraxa smiled at Ethan in the training room, something snapped inside her. She had trained beside Saraxa for years, trusted her blade, her voice, her leadership, but now that loyalty felt broken. I won't serve a human, Dorella whispered, and I won't watch Saraxa fall for one. In her hand, she held a small cube, one press of her finger. A secret message was sent, bouncing through hidden frequencies. In a command room. Ethan was checking ship logs when Zara entered. Commander, she said. A small energy pulse just left the ship. It was encrypted, not from our system. Ethan's eyes narrowed. You think someone on board sent it? Zara nodded. Yes. One of us. Ethan stood. Track it. Quietly. Don't alert the others. She hesitated. You think it's sabotage? I think, Ethan said slowly, someone still hates the idea of a human in charge. 2 hours later, the warship received an unexpected signal. A squad of small alien battle cruisers appeared on radar, flying in fast formation. Identification? Ethan asked. Saraxa's eyes scanned the data. Her voice dropped low. They're from my homeworld, she said. But these aren't all eyes. These are royal enforcers. Why are they coming toward us? Ethan asked. They don't send ships like these unless they want to seize something, Saraxa answered coldly. Or someone. Ethan didn't. Wait. Lock down the ship. Bring the senior warriors to the command room. We don't let them board without answers. But it was too late. The enemy ships weren't asking. They forced a docking sequence. The airlock doors opened, and 12 armored soldiers stormed in, blasters raised. One of them, a tall, silver-armored commander, pointed directly at Ethan. There he is, the human parasite. Soraxa stepped in front of him immediately, sword drawn. You'll pass over. My body before you touch him, she growled. The invaders looked shocked. You defend him? The commander asked. You disgrace your bloodline, Soraxa. She didn't move. He has done more for this crew than any noble warrior. Irella, standing in the corner, suddenly spoke. I called him. Gasps filled the room. I couldn't stand by any more, she said. He doesn't belong. He's corrupting our mission? He's, enough. Ethan's voice was calm, but sharp like a blade. I didn't take command by force. The ship chose me. You all saw that. He looked at the invaders, and I fought beside these warriors. Bled for them. Saved them. I don't need your approval. The commander of the enemy ship smirked. Then you'll die without it. What happened next shocked everyone. As the enemy soldiers stepped forward. The ship suddenly shook. The I voice echoed through the halls. Unauthorized. Boarding detected. Activating emergency defense protocol. Lockdown. Steel walls dropped. Laser doors sealed. The invaders were trapped in a section of the ship, cut off from the command room. Ethan looked up. I didn't do that, he said. Soraxa turned toward him. No, the ship did it to protect you. Later, Varela was placed in holding. Not harmed, but watched closely. She didn't look angry anymore. She looked broken. I wanted to save my people. She said softly to Ethan, I thought you were the enemy. I understand, he said. But maybe you were fighting the wrong battle. As the warship left the enemy cruisers behind, the crew gathered quietly in the command room. For the first time, Ethan didn't have to prove anything. Zara stepped forward and said, He didn't raise a weapon, but he still won. Soraxa looked at Ethan, her voice calm but strong. You didn't just survive today. Human, you earned something stronger than fear. She placed her sword down before him. You earned our loyalty. One of us now, the stars outside the warship, looked calm. But inside, something powerful had shifted. Ethan Cole, a human who once fixed broken pipes in the shadows of forgotten stations, now sat at the heart of a living alien warship. Not as a mistake, not as an outsider, but as a true commander. The warriors didn't just follow him now. They stood beside him, fought for him. And one of them might have started to feel something deeper. Soraxa stood silently at the viewing deck, watching the stars swirl. Her hands were behind her back, her blade resting against the wall. She had been quiet since the betrayal. Since Varella's confession, she didn't feel anger anymore. She felt uncertainty. How did a human so soft, so untrained, survive everything and still walk proudly? How did he get into her thoughts? Into her chest? Into the strange silence she used to love? She heard his footsteps before he spoke. You always come here when you're thinking, Ethan said softly. She didn't turn right away. The stars are easier than emotions. They don't change. He stood beside her. Maybe, but they're all so far away. I prefer things closer. She looked at him now. His face was tired, but strong. Calm, honest. I never thought I would say this, she whispered, but I'm glad the ship chose you. That makes one of us. Ethan chuckled. I didn't even choose me. She smiled, then grew serious. Do you know what it means when a warrior lays her blade at someone's feet? Ethan blinked. Respect? She shook her head. No, not just that. It means surrender. Not in battle, but in heart. In trust. He swallowed hard. You did that earlier. With the sword? She stepped closer. I don't know what this is between us, Ethan Cole, but it's something, and I am not afraid of it anymore. He smiled softly. Neither am I. A chime echoed through the ship. The AI spoke. Incoming message. Priority. Diplomatic fleet. Human council. Everyone froze. Zara was first to speak. Earth is calling. Soraxa narrowed her eyes. They must have found out about the warship activation. Ethan moved to the control panel. The screen flickered, and a man in a gray Earth uniform appeared. Cold eyes, straight posture. Commander Ethan Cole, he said flatly. You are in unauthorized control of a classified war asset. Ethan crossed his arms. I didn't choose it. The ship chose me. That ship is property of the Human Expansion Project. It was never meant to be activated. You are to return it immediately and surrender the alien crew. Silence. The crew behind Ethan tensed. He looked at the screen. No, he said. Man's eyebrow twitched. What did you say? I said no. This ship is alive. These warriors aren't tools. They're people. Fighters. My crew. You would defy Earth for aliens? Ethan looked back at Saraxa, then at the others. I'd defy anyone who thinks respect only belongs to one species. The man leaned forward, voice cold. Then you're now an enemy of Earth. The screen went black. Tension filled the room. Zara muttered. They'll send warships. We're faster, Saraxa replied calmly, and smarter. And we have a commander they'll never expect. Ethan looked around. We'll leave charted space. Go dark. They won't find us. Saraxa placed a hand on his shoulder. Wherever you go, Commander, we follow. Later that night, the crew held a ceremony in the heart of the ship. Warrior traditions. Glowing lights, alien music that filled the air like waves. One by one, each warrior stepped forward and placed something at Ethan's feet. An insignia, a crest, a blade, symbols of trust, symbols of belonging. Saraxa was the last. She placed her hand gently on his chest, right over his heart. You are one of us now, she whispered, in spirit, in blood, in bond. Ethan nodded. No more doubts. No more fear. Just stars ahead, and a future he never expected, but finally understood.